I think most of us are genuinely surprised at how fast Concord has failed. Like, think about it. It's barely been out for roughly maybe 2-3 weeks, right? And they're already pulling it from stores, and they're already shutting off the servers within a couple days. That is insane. You purchased a game with around $60-$70 price tag, depending on where you are. If it's in Australia, it's like $120. You bought that game, and now you can no longer play it. All because they only sold around 30,000 copies, 25,000 copies, roughly. And they spent somewhere around $200 million just to make the game with 8 years of dev time. Truly, the game is one of the biggest failures I've ever seen. And what are the chances of the developers coming out of their basement to tell us that it's our fault for not supporting a game that we never wanted in the first place? Anyway, let's move on to the first tweet. My heart breaks for Firewalk Studios. It's okay, they probably won't exist that much longer anyway. The fact that it wasn't given at least 6 months to properly sit through a season and adjust to proper live service game is insane to me. It's very clear PlayStation didn't believe in this from the start and failed to support it. Yes. Apparently giving them $200 million in budget is them not believing in this product. I want you to think about that. $200 million, 8 years of dev time. They gave you all the time in the world to make the game that you wanted, an opportunity that not many other people really have. And yet you failed to make a game that was actually worth anything. You made a game that nobody wanted. Like, how are we supposed to like the characters when they're the most horrendous looking characters known to man? Like, you could have just made a fat guy that looks like Shigoki from For Honor, you know, one of the coolest fat guys you'll ever play in any video game, because it's a fat man covered with cutting boards, and he has a giant mallet for a weapon. Here, I'll give you the option, and I'll put them on screen. You have the fat Japanese man from For Honor, and then you have the fat lady from Concord. Which one are you gonna pick? I'm gonna pick the one from For Honor, because he's leaning into being a fat bastard. Because we all know they're not gonna give you emotes around the actual weight of the character. They would never do that. It's a modern game. And we don't just need to look at appearance of these individual characters, we can also look at time to kill, which honestly looks even slow compared to Overwatch. The actual game itself just not being something that people wanted in this year, because hero shooters have just died out completely. Nobody takes an interest in them anymore. Especially if you're making them pay for said product and it not just being free to play. Anyway, let's move on to one of my favorite PlayStation fanboys, Unleashed. Thank you, Concord, for going out with grace, unlike Starfield. At least Starfield has the common decency to give you a game that you can actually play a couple years from now, unlike Concord. Like, I really want you to think about this. At least Sony is going to give you refunds if you purchase the game, which I think is actually pretty good on their half. I don't blame them for doing that. Also, just wanted to point out that your tweet, Unleashed, has more likes than concurrent players for Concord. I know that's getting a bit old, but I just wanted to point that out. We have another tweet from Unleashed, don't you worry, there's like another 2 or 3 more. You either die a hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I don't really know that I would call this game a hero, because what did it do to deserve that hero status? It did nothing. It's just a genuinely bad game. I guarantee you, it sold more copies when people are trying to scalp the game now that the game is disappearing. That's actually a pretty good, interesting thought to have. I wonder how much people are charging for the game right now. I just had a look on a couple websites and people are charging like $2,000 to $200 for the game. That is honestly impressive. I really do wonder who would spend that much money on a game just to never be able to play it. Like, you would hope you would actually be able to turn a profit on such a game like that, especially a sealed physical copy of the game. Let's hope those people see a return, because that's pretty much the only good thing about Concord, is that you're actually able to make money off of a sealed physical copy of the game. So this next tweet we'll be looking at is from Unleashed again, but it's a bit of an older tweet, but I also wanted to just share it because it's really funny. Unleashed tweeted, "As I predicted, Concord decimated Starfield 7459. Yeah, it decimated Starfield so hard that Concord doesn't even exist anymore to be sold or even played by any of the players. The game, I think, will be shutting down tomorrow at the time of recording, so anyway, that's a giant skill issue on Concord's behalf. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Starfield decimated Concord. But then again, Starfield's kind of a really mid-game, so I wouldn't want to give Starfield any credit. One thing that kind of confuses me is that a lot more people talk about Concord on Twitter instead of actually just playing the game. There are tweets with like 7,000 likes defending the game, but yet none of those 7,000 people that actually liked the tweet defending the game are actually playing the game. I bet they didn't even purchase the game. It only has like around 25,000, 30,000 copies sold. Who knows how many more copies it sold because of people, you know, wanting to scalp the game. I wonder why none of those people are playing the game. Anyway, let's move on to the final tweet from Unleashed. Their laughter will turn into absolute sorrow. Soon. I'll have you know, more people are talking about Space Marine 2 than I've seen in my feed than anything else. I could be completely wrong, that's just my feed, but Space Marine 2 seems to be winning. Am I gonna buy the game? Maybe. It looks kinda cool. But why can't you just accept an L? Every other PlayStation fanboy's doing it, but you for some reason can't. Okay, maybe the Red Dragon isn't. He's the next one we're going to be covering, by the way. I thought it would be funny because he's a bit special. But pretty much all of them agree that it's a flop and that we should all just forget about it. It's PlayStation's Redfall. Nobody wanted it, nobody asked for it. Our next tweet is from the Red Dragon. Xbox puts out a bomb like Redfall and keeps selling it. Sony puts out a bomb and recognizes it isn't the standard players have come to expect and offers refunds immediately. Good guys PlayStation. If Sony actually cared about the quality of their products, they would have removed Spider-Man 2 from sale. I'm sure you can remember how buggy and broken that game was. There are many compilations of that game just being genuinely terrible on launch. The reason why they're removing Concord is to hope probably they might be able to salvage the game and somehow make it successful later down the line with a bit of a rework to it, because nobody wants to play Concord. The only reason why they removed it is because it sold so terribly. They didn't do it because they cared about you and your pathetic little standards, because if you actually had standards you would come to PC and actually live like PC gamers and, you know, not accept garbage for whenever you want to buy a game. Anyway, let's move on to Dreamcast Guy, because he made a video, and I thought I don't want to really cover any more Twitter, so I might as well go look at Dreamcast Guy, instead of making a fully fledged video on him again.
What's up, gamers? Dreamcast Guy here, and today we're talking about PlayStation, because Sony just announced that the newest big PS5 game, Concord, has just been shut down. Yeah, I know this is completely shocking to hear about, but I've been doing videos talking about the game. I played 80 hours of it, even though it's just so boring. I was trying to get the only platinum trophy. Well, now nobody will ever finish the game. It's actually being taken offline. They're doing mass refunds. I want to talk about this, but to be honest, right up front, I'm kind of freaking out.
Why are you freaking out over a game being shut down? The game was terrible. Nobody wanted it. Also, I'm very sorry that you spent more than 80 hours playing the game. Genuinely sorry for your loss. I hope the ad revenue makes up for the meth that you had to use to play the game. May God have mercy on your soul. Was it really worth slugging through the game just to get a platinum trophy? Like, I understand if the game goes down you can't ever get it again, but is it really worth it? Are you really going to be happy or felt successful that you went out of your way to get that one platinum trophy for a game that doesn't have the player count that really support you getting it in a very fast time?
Because this has got to be the biggest PlayStation L of all time. Literally hundreds of millions of dollars down the drain instantly. And I gotta ask why, but let's get into it. Hi.
Well, they wanted to have their leg in the door when it comes down to the hero shooter market. They wanted to expand their horizons instead of just being movie games, actually try to look at other genre of games to see if they can get their leg in the door for it. But they made the big crucial mistake of not making the game free to play, and putting way too much money into the game.
Hope you're having a great day, and if you could please, give this video a like and subscribe.
Yes, you should give me a like and a subscribe. Also, my Discord server is still open. That link expires within 7 days, but it's like 5 or 6 days now, so I'm gonna leave that in the comments again, so if you want to join, you can join.
Things that people hate, and I think it's a completely valid criticism, is the fact that the characters themselves just look boring. I mean, I've played 80 hours of this game. 80 hours. I've nearly got the platinum trophy. I've leveled up a bunch. I've played literally all 16 of the characters, and even I cannot remember their names. This guy's called like Lennox, and this guy's name is like Starchild, and then this lady's name is like Hjörg. This is my main, and I can't remember her name. This game is so bland and forgettable that even the people that end up getting suckered into buying it are still not having a good time, actually.
This is why people say that PC players have a much higher standard for games when they're just not going to buy games that they don't want to play or don't like. Compare this to a mindless consumer like Dreamcast Guy. He's just going to buy the next thing from PlayStation or Xbox and play it regardless if it's good or bad. Yes, I know that not all console players fit in the same category as Dreamcast Guy, but a lot of people seem to get really pissed off whenever I mention that PC players have higher standards, so I'm going to do it on purpose. PC players have higher standards.
Talking about the fact that I think the bubble for live service games has undoubtedly popped. I feel like we're in this space where Genshin Impact is still successful, Fortnite is still successful, World of Warcraft just launched a new big giant expansion, but I think when it comes to new games breaking into this space, they're having a lot of difficulty.
I can name a myriad of issues on why this game didn't succeed. First of all, them favoring politics in the video game, with them adding pronouns and whatever else to all the characters that honestly didn't need it. It's meant to be a video game that's fun first and foremost. And alongside that, people are already playing games that take up the majority of their time when they want to sit down and enjoy video games. No one needs another live service game added to their collection that they're never going to play.
Concord, but now, having had a chance to play 80 hours of it almost, oh God help me, the game is something that didn't deserve to succeed, but I never imagined it would flop in 2 weeks.
I don't think anyone really expected it to be shut down that fast. That's honestly quite incredible. I think we can all agree on that the players truly made themselves known and that we truly determine what succeeds and what doesn't. So that should be a really big wake-up call for Sony, Microsoft, Steam, whoever makes games, it should be a wake-up call. Make games that people actually want to play. Who knew that could be such a hard concept for studios and developers alike to genuinely just sit there and understand? So anyway, that's the end of the video. I don't want to waste your time by parroting myself another 50 times. So I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.